So, good afternoon everyone. Gamification has gained a lot of attention in recent years. Do you know why? Because educators believe gamification can engage students and prevent boredom. However, we want to know, we're curious about, do students actually feel that way, or does gamification just feel good when we read them? And specifically, we want to know that gamification in grammar learning, including platform Wayground. So here with me, Nazwa Mira Tunajak, with my partner, we want to present students' perception of Wayground as a tool for grammar learning in EFL activities. Grammar is a fundamental aspect in learning English. The reason is because grammar provides structural foundation for all English skills, including speaking, reading, writing, and listening. However, traditional methods often taught, and it made the student perception of Wayground become repetitive, less engaging, and also tiresome. That's why, along with the development of technology, the researchers and educators implementing gamification into grammar learning activities. So what is gamification? Gamification is the use of game element into non-game context. And here, for example, such as point, badges, leaderboards, and challenges. One platform that incorporates gamification element is Wayground, because Wayground helps teachers to create interactive quizzes and then assessment and assigning tasks with various formats such as multiple choice, fill in the blank, and also open-ended question and more. And gamification also can increase student comprehension of grammar by changing student behavior, because students can feel motivated and engaged. However, limited research on student perception of Wayground drive us to do research more about students' perception of Wayground as a tool for grammar learning activities.
Alright, so as Nazo mentioned earlier that in the previous slides that there are limited research discussing on how students perceive Wayground in grammar learning activities. Because in the previous research, they were mainly focusing on the effectiveness of gamification, especially Wayground, in improving scores or students' motivation. Therefore, in this study, we aim to answer the following question, which is why do students find Wayground motivating for grammar learning in EFL activities? Throughout this research, we hope that the findings can provide new information and useful insights for teachers in integrating Wayground in their EFL classroom activities. Next. To explore students' perceptions of Wayground, we use descriptive qualitative design and collecting the data through a semi-structured interview using Technology Acceptance Model, or TAM, created by Davis in 1989 as our theoretical framework. In the process of data collection, we interviewed 10 undergraduate students who have used Wayground in their grammar learning activities. The interview questions are focusing on the several aspects of TAM, including perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, attitude towards use, and the last one is behavior intention to use. So, after the data collection, we analyze it using thematic analysis framework created by Brown and Clark to analyze the theme of each participant's answer. Therefore, we can gain a deeper understanding of their experiences and also their views of using Wayground. Next, we will explain about the findings and discussion.
Alright, after doing semi-structured interview and doing thematic analysis of our data, and here we found the finding. The first is how students perceive Wayground usefulness. So, the first step is Wayground as an assessment tool rather than learning tool. Students perceive Wayground for assessment tools such as exam, midterms, and final examination. And second one is gamification features as motivation. Students feels Wayground is useful because of it motivates them to use it. Wayground has a lot of features, but from leaderboards, and also avatar and redemption. Redemption is when you attempt wrong question and you can re-answer it again. And for the third is the timer as pressure and excitement. We found that for some students, the timer can feel panic and also destructive. But for the other students, the timer gave excitement and also gave engagement. So, we found that Playground made the assessment process engaging with less use of different elements that might dive deep learning. Alright, so for the next finding is perceived ease of use. How the students see Playground and how it's easy to use. The student found that Playground is straightforward and also it's really easy to navigate. The reason is because the interface of Playground is simple. If it were simple, I would be more interested, say one of the sample. And for the interface itself are easy with some difficulties. Most of the students feel difficulties in external factors like internet and also devices. And here, simple interface encourage use, but we found that the lecturer's obligation also influence the student perception of ease of use of Playground.
Alright, we come to the third aspect, which is attitude towards use. So, in this section, we highlighted two main things, which are excited and anxious feelings and engagement under challenge without boredom. So, we found out that students perceive Playground as a platform that can make them feel engaged and excited during the learning process. Because the gamification features make them feel more like, oh, it's easy to use. Therefore, one of the students mentioned that, I feel rushed but interested at the same time. It shows that students enjoy the competitiveness, the challenges during the learning process, but they also felt anxious and pressured because of the timer and the leaderboard. Well, interestingly, those features are actually the reason why none of them felt bored when doing the quiz. And it could also be caused by the gamification features such as timer, and also the competitiveness environment, even medium between questions that kept them engaged throughout the learning process. One student mentioned that memes between questions make me feel like I'm taking a break. Next, we move on to the last aspect of TAM, which is behavioral intention to use. We found out that students may recommend Playground as a tool for assessment and practicing rather than the main learning tool. A student mentioned, not as the main tool, but suitable for practicing your understanding. Therefore, based on the participants' answer, we come to conclude that Playground is more suitable for practicing, reviewing, and even examining your own grammatical understanding. And in this aspect, we understand that teachers still have an important role to deliver and explaining the materials to the students. Alright, we come to conclude that why students perceive Playground as motivating for grammar learning, because there are 3 points. The first one is gamification features create enjoyment and game-like experience. The second one is timer creates urgency and prevents the boredom during the learning process. And the third one is competitive environment enhances participation and performance. And the last one, the ease of use without complex features make them feel like may increase their intention to use Playground. Alright, that's the end of our presentation, and now we move on to the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please. If you have any question, please raise your hand, tell me your name, and state your question. Please.
Okay, next.
So, thank you for your explanation. It's really interesting. So, based on your finding, what is the most important recommendation for EVL teacher who want to use Waygram for grammar learning activities?
Alright, so thanks for your question. And we found that students feel struggling during answering questions, especially SI. So we want to recommend the teacher, if they want to use SI form, they could show the instruction, full instruction starting from the how to open SI question and how to fill it and how to submit it.
And also the timer, maybe teachers can make the timer more adjustable for the students. So, or maybe making the timer, extending the timer, so the student would not feel rushed when doing the quiz. That's the best recommended.
Alright, thank you for the answer. I will note that.
Thank you so much for your question. Thank you so much for your attention. We hope that we can give you valuable insights of our research. Thank you. Have a great day.
I think I also suggest you. I think it's better also for you, like for